Hey, so quick intro here. This is a new series I'm trying out where I just give short, almost first impressions sort of reviews of all of the PS Plus free games for each month. These are not meant to be deep analytical looks at each game, and they're really not even meant to be full reviews either. So I'm not going to be talking about every single little detail of every game. Basically, if there's an aspect of a game that I don't talk about, just assume it was fine, and thus not that interesting to talk about. These are just meant to be short overviews of what each game is like, and whether or not I enjoyed playing it. Also, I only have a PS4, so I won't be looking at the PS3 or Vita exclusive games. Okay, with all of that said, let's start the video. So the first free game this month is Little Big Planet 3. Now, I knew going in that this game was not my kind of game. These monthly selections of freebies usually have one big game along with a bunch of lesser known titles, so I can admit that I was a little disappointed to see Little Big Planet 3 as the big game for this month. I'm the kind of guy that sees a level creation menu and my eyes just glaze over. Halo 3 Forge way back in the day was too complicated for my underdeveloped middle school brain, and things have hardly progressed since then, so making my own levels was pretty much out. Honestly, even customizing my character to any significant degree was too demanding a task for me, so I just slapped on some random clothes and set out to try the single player levels. So I finished the prologue and said, okay, that was kinda boring, what else do you have for me, Little Big Planet 3? So I begrudgingly tried a few of the high-rated user-created levels and found that they were actually pretty cool. It seems that after almost 3 years, people have actually figured out some pretty insane things they can do with this engine, and the coolest user content has risen to the top. Honestly, though the controls on a lot of these games leave something to be desired, the sheer creativity and effort on display from some of these is absolutely jaw-dropping. I had no idea anything like this was even possible in Little Big Planet. Cube is a cool, perfectly functional little puzzle game, the kind I would no doubt have spent hours on in the middle school computer lab. This Roman strategy one is impressive, but I just don't know what I'm doing. Oh, and I especially like this one, Rainborn, which hints at an impressively deep world and story, even if the gameplay's a little janky. So give Little Big Planet 3 a shot. I only really had fun with the user-created levels, but you might enjoy the platforming in the main campaign too. If you're one of those people that makes computers in Minecraft, you might even be able to figure out how to make some cool levels of your own. Next up is TorqueL. This game is a masterclass in how to come up with a unique mechanic and then implement it incredibly poorly and do absolutely nothing interesting with it. Left and right move your little box around, but the twist is that you can press any of the 4 face buttons to extend a big rectangle out of that side of the box. But do so at your own risk, because when you press one of those buttons, the game's physics take over and you get to sit back and watch whatever happens. And since the box is constantly rotating, trying to actually press the side you want is an exercise in futility. I most often found myself just picking a side and only using that side for as long as possible, just to avoid confusion. Music is tied to your movement, which sounds like a neat idea, but in practice, it just means that the game has vaguely musical noises for a soundtrack instead of actual music. And with how often and quickly you die in this game, it takes way too long to start over. Why do I need to see the end of the level every single time I die? I mean, I assume it's to let you see the layout of the level, but you wouldn't need to show me the layout of the level if you could just zoom the camera out a little bit more. Fairly petty annoyances aside, I could see this game appealing to some, but it was just too frustrating for me to get any real enjoyment out of it. Okay, so when I sat down to record the audio here, I sincerely thought that I had written a full thing for Starwhal, but it looks like all I actually wrote was this. Play with friends. If you don't have any friends, go make some. Go to your college's gaming club or join a yoga class. I don't know. I mean, I think that about sums it up. Yeah, play with friends. Do you enjoy old school graphics and old school challenge to match? Would you be at all interested in a game with catchy chiptune music, a surprisingly deep story, and fun mechanics that encourage exploration and experimentation? You would! Well, friend, I've got great news for you. The Spectre Knight DLC for Shovel Knight is coming out soon, and you should absolutely play Shovel Knight if you haven't already. What you should absolutely not do is download Ninja Senki DX, because Ninja Senki DX is a boring game with repetitive music, gameplay that manages to be tired, simplistic, boring, and also incredibly frustrating at the same time, no story, and it's boring. Did I mention that this game is really, really boring? Skip it. Not a Hero. Not a Hero, more than anything, manages to create a satisfying action movie feel with pixel graphics and only 3 buttons. It's actually pretty impressive. Jumping out of a window onto the floor below and opening fire on the room full of crazed Russian gangsters makes you feel like one half SWAT officer and one half Doom guy. Though this game did do the restoring health from executions thing almost exactly 1 year before Doom did. What brings this game down somewhat are the optional objectives. It's fine when there's stuff like get 6 kills in 10 seconds or complete the level in 100 seconds, but sometimes the optional objectives are stuff like collect things in the level or shooting less than a certain number of shots. I just want to blast through and murder everyone, not collect rat heads or save hostages, because rushing in without a plan and just improvising is the most fun way to play. And the only story really is do what the bunny man says. Huh. You know, this is all starting to remind me of a certain other game that I can't quite put my finger on. I'm sure I'll think of it. Anyway, Not a Hero is worth a download, but take my advice. If the optional objective doesn't seem fun, just don't do it. That was my philosophy with college, and look where I am today. So wow, a lot of side-scrollers this month, and quite a mixed bag too. Unfortunately, there weren't any absolute must-plays this month, but Little Big Planet 3 and Not a Hero are worth a look if you have the hard drive space for them. Starwhal is pretty fun with friends, TorqueL is too frustrating and unpolished to really recommend, and download Ninja Senki DX only if your Ambien prescription recently ran out and you desperately need a sleep aid. So that was my little review of PlayStation Plus's free games for February 2017. If you enjoyed this, I'm planning on doing these every month, so hit the like button and subscribe and do all those things that YouTubers tell you to do all the time, and I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching.